All right, guys. Here we go. So, this is the general form of the equation of a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Where hk is the center and the radius is the square root of that r squared. So here's another example just to reinforce this. Right? If my equation is x minus 4 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 25, that means my center is the opposite of negative 4, which is positive 4. And the y part of that, the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. So my center is 4, 4. And my radius is the square root of this constant number, which the square root of 25 is 5. So now if you look, I'm going to go backwards now. I'm going to give you the center and the radius. So basically, when I go to write my equation, it's going to be the opposite sign. So instead of x plus 1, it's going to be x minus 1 squared. The y part of the center is negative 3, so it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be like y minus negative 3, which is really just going to be the opposite sign, y plus 3. And it's going to equal the radius squared, 5 to the second. So you might see it like that, or they might actually do 5 to the second and get 25. All right? So this would be my equation of a circle, which would have a center of 1, negative 3, and a radius of 25. All right? Let's take a look at another example. What is the equation of a circle with the center of negative 3, 1, and a radius of 7? So again, the x is negative 3, but it's going to be the opposite. So it's going to be x plus 3 to the second. The y part's 1, but it's always the opposite. So it's going to be y minus 1 squared equals the radius squared, which is 7 squared. All right? So my equation, x plus 3 squared plus x minus 1 squared equals 49. All right? All right. Number 2, what is the equation of a circle whose radius is 11 and whose center is at the origin? So if you're at the origin, that means you're at 0, 0. So you're not going to have these values added or subtracted onto x and y. It's just going to be x squared plus y squared equals 11 squared. And if you square the 11, you get 121. All right? It could be written either way. All right? All right, and then just a couple more examples from what we did in the beginning. What are the coordinates of the center? All right, remember, it's going to be the opposite. So there's no shift in the x direction, so it's 0. It's going to be the opposite of plus 7. So it's going to be negative 7. That's my center. If they ask for the radius, it's the square root of that number. So this is an instance where 11 is not a perfect square, so you just leave it in the square root. All right? Let me do one more like that. All right, what is the center and radius of the circle whose equation is x plus 3 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 16? So my center, again, is going to be the opposite signs of these. So the center, the x is going to be negative 3. The y is going to be positive 5. And then the radius is going to be the square root of this constant, which ends up being 4. All right? All right, try the rest of these questions. This is a 2-day lesson, so you have Thursday and Friday to do this whole thing, right? All right? Take care. Email me with any questions.